Sandwich, welcome back to Deadlock. I'm doing something a little different today. I'm going to be doing a VOD review of my second ranked game that I played. This was mostly against Arcanist level players, and so if you're at that level and you're looking to climb, this is a good video for you. There's plenty of videos of Arcanist level and you know people in that rank showing you how to play the game well, but I didn't see a whole lot of people at the lower levels talking about what they're experiencing in ranked and what they're doing that helps them climb. I qualified into Ritualist 2 this week, and then or the week that I played these games, and then the next week, which was last week, I qualified into Emissary 4. So I am climbing pretty consistently, and hopefully I'll be able to give you some tips to do the same. Looking to get up to Phantom is my end goal. I don't think I'll be able to get into Eternus. That's pretty competitive, but I definitely can make Phantom. And the main reason I want Phantom is because it looks cool. There's no other reason. I just think the emblem looks the coolest out of all of them, which is why I want it. But here we got our wall. I think the wall is the best ability on McGinnis, hands down. And then we're gonna go into the 2 and immediately put a point into it so we get the attack stem. The attack stem is incredibly strong on her, especially early game. Not only increases your attack speed, but it increases the attack speed of your turrets. Then we're going to go turret, and then we're going to level all the way up into wall because we want that stun. The stun is incredibly useful. It can turn a bad 1v1 into a winning 1v1 really quickly if you use it properly. And it can also just get you out of a lot of bad situations, and you can also steal Reju with it. So wall, I think, is pretty commonly the thing that most McGinnis players level up first. There's other paths you can go, but this is the one I choose to go. And here, we're mainly looking to farm creeps. They are pretty low, so we'll definitely put damage on them if they allow us. Like this Warden is a little out of position there. Thankfully for him, he was able to get out by breaking line of sight through that veil over there. But here, the main goal is to out-farm them. It isn't necessarily to get kills against the enemy team. And a big reason I wanted to show this game out of the 7 that I played in the first week that I did ranked is because it really highlights how strong just objective pushing is. We end up getting all 4 walkers on our own as McGinnis, while the rest of the enemy team and my team are fighting each other in various skirmishes that just don't really amount to much. And that's one of the key things. I think that if you're at this level, if you stop fighting so much and start pushing objectives, you'll definitely help win the game for your teammates. And that's why we're going to focus on that heavily. We got monster rounds here. Sorry, I'm going to move my cursor. We got monster rounds here and basic magazine. 2 pretty standard pickups on McGinnis. I'm sure that's not a shock to any of you guys. Monster rounds so we can farm, and we can also tank guardian damage, which is pretty nice. It's going to come in handy later. Basic magazine, you just have more bullets. I mean, there's nothing much to say about that. More bullets equals more damage before you have to reload. And reloading her gun takes a long time. So we are going to give him put a little damage on the Warden there, but our key is to farm the creeps. We want to stay ahead of them. And right now we do have a slight lead. It isn't huge, but we have almost about an item ahead of them. And so we got extra health and extra charge there. Both also pretty standard pickups on McGinnis. Extra charge does work with your turret, so you get an extra turret for it, which is really nice. And they did remove the extra turret from leveling it up, so you really kind of are forced to get this item on McGinnis at this point. If you want your turrets to be useful. I guess you could just not care about your turrets, but I like having the extra turret. And then the heal, crucial. You always want to put your heal behind a barrier cover so that you deny line of sight so they can't shoot you while you're healing up. And here we're still just harassing them, trying to force them out of lane. We realize that they're staying way too long, and we can actually pick up a kill on them. Yeah, the Lady Geist, we didn't do anything really special there other than recognize that the Lady Geist pushed over into an area where she really shouldn't have been going with the amount of health that she had. And so she gave us an easy kill because of it. And we were able to cover our lash and get him out. The main goal still is to take this Guardian down as quickly as possible. So we know when we ult here that we're not going to be able to kill them. My main goal is to push them out of basically make them leave lane so that I can put a wall up and take Guardian. And it actually doesn't work out as intended here because this Lady Geist actually does something a little... So that was a very risky play by Lady Geist to do that because I could have easily stunned her off the line if I had anticipated it. Warden, however, has a full health bar and he realizes we're out of position, so he comes in and kills us. But that being said, we've done a lot of damage to their Guardian, so I think that death was actually worth it there because all we really need to do is go walk up and tickle that Guardian now and it's going to go down. And so we're going to come right back into the fight. We see that, we recognize that Warden's ulting, so we're going to back up a little bit. Warden's incredibly powerful in his ult, especially early game. You don't really want to challenge it. If you see him burn the cooldown, dip. Let him burn it and get out of there. Don't trade with him. Even in that situation, I think we probably traded with him a little too much. So we got a couple... 3 more items here. We got Enduring, or not Enduring, Speed Sprint Boots, which is going to help us rotate. We got Enchanter's Barrier. These guys both have a lot of spirit damage, so Enchanter's Barrier is going to be a huge pickup for us here. I believe that's Enchanter's Barrier, right? No. Sorry, we got Combat Barrier. My bad. Warden does a lot of bullet damage. Honestly, I think that probably could have been Enchanter's Barrier because this guy steals a lot of spirit damage, and so does Warden. I think Warden does deal a lot of bullet damage too, but the nice thing about this is if we can stay topped off, and we are McGinnis, and we just went healing right, so we can stay topped off, is we get that 22% damage while we're shielded. Of course, you have to have the shield for it to matter. And then we got Extra Spirit, which is just nice, adds damage onto our turret. Here, the Lady Geist is out of position, so we wall her off. Again, we're not really trying to force any of these kills, but we will kill them if they give it to us. It's still XP. It's still useful. It's just not the most important thing to be focusing on. Another thing we could have tried to do there is parry. That Warden committed to a heavy melee there that was kind of obvious, but didn't really matter. We killed him anyway, even though we didn't melee. Even though we didn't parry the melee. Jesus, words are hard. Learn from me. Here we get the Guardian. It's 7 minutes in, which is pretty good. I mean, obviously you could do it sooner, and we tried to. We just died for it. And if you can get it down sooner, do it, because that basically frees us up to start rotating. We can farm jungle, but mainly we want to start looking to rotate to other lanes and take objectives. So we're getting camp here, and we're right now, I believe we are farming up to get Tesla bullets. That's what we should be doing. Sorry, it's been 3 weeks almost now since I played this game, so I don't remember exactly what I was doing in each of these situations. I just remember the overall theme of this game was we ended up just winning because we out-farmed them considerably by late game, which you will see, and they just couldn't stand in lane with us. At a certain point, like basically the entire enemy team tries to take us out, and they just can't because we're so far ahead. They just don't deal meaningful damage to us, and we basically just laser them for free. Realize that Warden's ult is just ended, so we're gonna come in here. We have Tesla bullets now, which deals a lot of damage. I don't see enough McGinnises picking up Tesla bullets. It's a very strong item on her. Not only does it help you farm, but it helps you deal a lot of damage. And here, their issue isn't mechanics or skill at this point. It's the fact that I have 9k and they have 5 and 6k between them. I have a considerable amount of items over them, so them trying to stick it out and trade with me is not going to go well. And that's, you need to, if you're on their side of the field, you just need to recognize who the fed players are, and you need to work together with your teammates. Call them out when they're out of position and try and capitalize and collapse on them. They do that near the end of the game, but it's just too late for them to do anything about it. And here we're just farming jungle. We have our lane pushed up, so we don't need to worry about it. The turrets over there are gonna finish that creep, which is something we can do to save on efficiency. Now we've got their wave pushed up, so we're gonna go back and clear wave. You don't want to miss wave for jungle. I want that to be very clear. Wave is always going to be more important than jungle unless they change something drastically about jungle creeps. But right now, you want to prioritize wave over jungle. But if you push up, you definitely need to go get jungle. Here we're going to get bridge buff. This was stamina, which is alright. We really want either gun buff or health buff on McGinnis. Both of those would be really good, but we'll take stamina. The bridge buffs are really good, so you should take them regardless of what they are. I just want you to know that, you know, gun buff is ideal for her, and secondly would be the health buff. Make you more tanky, give you more resilience. Here we're going to go bullet resist shredder. And I think we did upgrade, yeah, enduring speed and extra stamina. These are just to help rotate so you can move around and get to other lanes quicker. I think it's pretty standard for a lot of people to pick these up at this point. Swift Strike is just a 10% more damage and 22% fire rate. Huge. It does give you a little bit less bullet resist, but we don't really care about that. We're so fed at this point, and we have combat barrier, so it does give us a little bit of added value to this over Enchanter's Barrier. And we also have Quicksilver Reload. We put that on our turret so that we can reload really quickly and just keep that fire rate up. McGinnis's gun is incredibly powerful once it's revved up. She's a very scary character to stand in front of once you get that gun fully going brrr like it just did. If they don't respect you, they either will or eventually, or they'll die. All right, here we've done a lot of work in our lane, so we're gonna look to go push. Even the enemy walker is about halfway in our lane, so we're gonna go over and help out our teammate over here, which is what you should be doing if you're this far ahead. I see some players who they'll get a lead, but then they won't really do anything with it. They'll just keep farming. If you have a lead, you need to be impactful, because you are basically the playmaker at this point. You need to go do something for your enemy, the enemy team. You need to go do something for your team. And one thing I can do is help push this lane, and also, you know, we'll get a tier 3 while we're at it. Why not? We use the wall there just for the damage to finish them off. We know the turret's gonna finish the rest of them, and we see that our lane is pretty much pushed up, so we're gonna go fight. And here we're just so far ahead of the warden that we don't care about his jail. Even if he tries to aggress here, like you can see, he's gonna die for it. And that's just the advantage of out farming. Right now we have a considerable lead, and funnily enough, the enemy team was even with us until we took that walker. It was like 60 to 61. So despite the fact that I'm doing well, my team as a whole isn't doing particularly well. And I just want that to be clear. You know, like, you might say, well, you just had a better team. I don't think we did. I think without me on this team, we probably would have lost this game. And that might sound conceited, but I think it's honestly the truth. And it's mainly just coming down to having macro, good map macro. We aren't always trying to go for frags or fight. There's a bunch of fighting going on in lane 2 by the looks of it, but there's just not a whole lot happening because of it. And here we probably could have bought some items before we did this, but it didn't matter. I'm sorry, guys. You can't fight me at this point. You have to go do something else. You've allowed me to get too much of a lead. And, like, look at how much these objectives are worth. If you want to get a huge advantage, don't go frag people. Go get objectives. I mean, the frags were nice, don't get me wrong. They definitely add to the XP total here. But the key thing that's really making the difference between me and everybody else in this game is my focus on going after structures. And I know I've said it a lot, but I'm just going to keep reiterating it. Structures, structures, structures. Kill them, motherfuckers. Kill them till they're dead. This Viscous just can't do anything. He can't stay in lane. We have 23k right now. The only person who's even remotely close to challenging us is that Vindicta, and we haven't even seen her yet this game. Yep, and here we're going to rotate over. We are going to clean up this haze, because why not? You know, putting players back to base does reduce their ability to stay on the map and farm, and we don't want them to out farm us if they give us easy kills like that. Of course, we're not going to overcommit and chase them down. We did go for the walker there before we started to engage the Vindicta, but now that we're here, we might as well engage people, since they're so kindly coming out and letting us do this. And this, honestly, I think this was more of just a misplay on the enemy's part. I'm not doing anything, as you can see, I'm missing plenty of shots. My aim isn't particularly good. I'm just so fed at this point that they really can't challenge me, even if it's a bunch of them, because they're just so far behind. I do believe I get accused of cheating near the end of the game because they're just not used to playing against a player that's this farmed versus their farm. So yeah, let's talk about our items. We do have bullet lifesteal now, which is helping our sustain a lot. Titanic magazine, we upgraded basic magazine. Yeah, that poor Vindicta does finally try and show up and do something about it, but she was out with her team. And I think if all of them had collapsed me there, they would have killed me. But they kind of started taking 1v1s or 2v1s instead of all trying to fight me at the same time, and that really led to them basically just crumbling as a team. Because now we're keeping them staggered, which is something you should try and do if you're at this point. If you're base rushing and you're this fed, I'm basically just gonna play goalie at this point and make sure they can't come out of their base. This is pretty much game right here. Like, they can't do anything. Yeah, I could go buy more items, I just don't need to. I'm so far ahead of them that it doesn't matter. And that's what you should be doing. If you're this far ahead, don't necessarily prioritize. We get a pause here because I don't know, tasty snacks or something. We're gonna skip ahead. Yeah, I think we have a cheating accusation here, but you don't need to cheat to do this. You don't. It's just I don't even think my aim was particularly good this game, so I'm not sure what they thought I was cheating doing. It really is just understanding that objectives will win you the goddamn game, and that's exactly what just happened there. And if you really like this content, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to see one of these games live, check me out on Twitch. I'm streaming Monday